Boom. Right? Are we on? Are we live? Is it live?
Yeah.
We're live. Here we are, folks. Boom. Here we are, season 4, episode. Who the hell knows anymore? I think it's 25. And yeah, we're a travel show tonight. Hopefully it's working. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It should be working. And yeah, we are in Atlanta, Hotlanta, by the way. It's Hotlanta, Georgia. I am at ICCFA. If you don't know this about me, I happen to work, one of my clients, I'm general counsel for the International Cemetery Cremation Funeral Association. It's a lot of death care. And we are here at our university at Emory, and we do a 1-week little university, and I happen to teach some classes. Seriously? You teach? Yeah, I know. And then they let me do this. So we are here, and we're going to do a cocktail, death-themed. We're doing the coffin now, people. Quarantine style coffin now. Come on inside. It's time, people. Not that door. Wait, not that door. This door.
This door.
Here we go. Come on in. I'm trying to do it backwards. Here we go. I got it right this time. Here we go, folks. Sorry, I'm not being nice to my filmer. Folks, welcome, because we got a little bit of a crowd here tonight. ICCFA in the house. This is the deathcare people. All right. So, yeah, it's always fun when your bartender's drinking beer as he walks behind the bar. Folks, thanks for coming. So we got to do a little brief history. So for everybody else out there, you are probably watching the show, you know the history, but I'm going to give it a little fresh take because we have a lot of newbies here. So the Blue Monkey Quarantina, which is the name of our little show and our cocktail, started when the quarantine started. So when the quarantine hit, Shelby and I were out drinking. Imagine that. And we remember, I remember sitting, we were at a brewery, and news came on, and the governor said, at 10 o'clock tonight, everything will be shut down. Do you remember that day? I mean, it seems like forever ago. It was a pit of a stomach day. It was so weird. And I remember everybody where we were, they raised a glass, and we cheers to everybody, and we're like, all right, let's go home. And Shelby, if you don't understand how our relationship works, we have it's kind of like, there's relationships where it's, hey, I have an idea, and the other one's like, ugh, I don't know. And then there's our relationship where, hey, I have an idea, and then the other person's like, yeah, but what if you also did this? So I was like, when this happened, I said, we're gonna go home, I'm gonna make a quarantini. I am not making claim. I did not invent the quarantini. Everybody in the free world had the same idea, like 30 seconds after the quarantine was announced. Quarantini! I got it! Cocktail. But Shelby said this, let's go do it on Facebook Live. And if you ever want to see a ridiculous thing, watch the first video we ever did. Because I didn't even know how to turn the camera. I'm like, are we on? Is this working? How do I do it? Where are we? And it was a horrible cocktail. But after we did it, the thing that people said, and when I say people, 3, Paul, what are we doing tomorrow night? And I said, all right. So we did another cocktail the next night. And then they said, all right, we're on to the next one. So for 65 nights in a row, my liver and I did a new cocktail every night. And ultimately, that ended up being season 1. And we even made a book, the Blue Monkey Quarantina Table Book Edition. And it has every cocktail we ever did. And this guy's getting coffee, and he was the first one here at the door. And he's like, wait, I heard I get a drink. Boom, you win. If you want that made worthless, I'll sign it. So, anyway, we decided we were going to keep doing the show until the quarantine ended. And then on day 65, quarantine partially lifted. So we partially ended the show. And instead of every night, because my doctor told me, I went to 2 nights a week, Sunday and Wednesday. And we did that for another season. Basically, we ran it for another 50-some episodes. Then ended the season, and we went to just on Sundays. And we did a 3rd season, a whole year of just Sundays. Now we are in season 4.
Woo!
So we've done like almost 200 shows. No cocktail has ever been repeated. And here we sit. We do it every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Now, there is one part of this. I am not just a raging alcoholic that likes to put my drinking on, Facebook. There is an actual purpose, and we actually, through all of this, have raised money. So we actually raise money for a nonprofit, the LC Coat Drive. We take funds, we buy brand new coats. We don't donate old coats. We buy brand new coats and we give them to kids in need. Last year, we were able to raise almost $50,000. And we donated about 2,000 coats. And as I always say, I'll drink to that. Now, the needy kids, I always tell people, are my kids. They're Max and Chloe. and my daughter has a coat addiction, and I feed it. So it's not good. No, we give them out. It's a great blessing. And every year, we try to do a little more. And last year, we did a telethon. So if you're really bored, in September, we will do a 24-hour old school cocktail telethon. I will make cocktails for 24 hours straight. This year, you were there. Give that thumbs up. Yeah, Chrissy, she was there. Stopped by the house. Last year, we did 48 cocktails, 2 cocktails an hour. This year, we're going to go to 75 cocktails. Yes, I drink every part of every one of them.
Wow.
Oh, it's a raging mess by the end of the. It is the Coffin nail. Yes, the Coffin nail cocktail, right? Now, to get to the Coffin nail, you're going to have to learn a few things about cocktails. First thing, behind every fantastic new cocktail, typically is an old classic cocktail. It's called a riff. So when you take one good old cocktail and change it a little bit, that's called a riff. There's lots of ways to do a riff. You can add something to it, which is what we're going to do tonight. You can reverse a cocktail and make it in a backwards order. You can split a mix. So like imagine a margarita, instead of using straight tequila, maybe you take the 2 ounces of tequila and say, I'll do 1 ounce of regular tequila, 1 ounce of like a mezcal. So there's all little different things. You can make a Royale. That's a very common riff. A Royale, you take any cocktail, add the word Royale, and yes, you should be thinking of a movie right now. And you basically add champagne to it and make it bubbly, and then that's a riff. But tonight, it's a riff, we're adding something, but the original drink that you have to learn first, we're going back to 1937. And the original drink we're going to do is actually called the Rusty Nail. So the Rusty Nail is a great old classic cocktail, and it's kind of been forgotten. And actually, it was forgotten as soon as it was made. In 1937, that's when the cocktail was invented. It was at the British Industrial Fair in New York, and they made this cocktail for the fair. That was like a thing back then. Why don't they do that anymore? Right?
Cool.
Yeah, that's what you should do. So, and it was actually called BIF, B-I-F, British Industrial. I mean, they were fancy, right? I mean, a lot of thought went into this. And for some reason, it didn't take off. All it basically was is scotch and drambuie. And it as quick as it came, it disappeared. But then a funny thing happened. In the 1960s, it became super popular. This was like a drink everybody went to, and there's a reason. The Rat Pack. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. Thank you. Winner. I'd give you a book, but you already have one.
I've already got one.
You already got one.
You want a book?
I would love a book.
All right, here we go. Another book. There you go. He's giving away his prize. So they made it popular. This was like one of their go-to drinks. They're out there and they're ordering it, and they made it popular once again. So fast forward. Now, there's actually one other thing you need to know about every good cocktail. Normally, there's a reason for the name. In the Rusty Nail, our main drink that we're going to start with, there's a theory of how the name came about. Now, there's 2 theories. There's probably 100. I'm going to give you 2. One, the original drink, nobody knows who made it, but the story goes is that he had to mix it, and in order to mix it, he didn't have anything, and he grabbed an old rusty nail and stirred it as a stirrer, and it dubbed the Rusty Nail cocktail. And theoretically, the story is that the case of Drambuie had sat around and it had rusty nails in it. So as he pulled the Drambuie out, there's a rusty nail and he used it. Other people believe that the Drambuie in itself, it has a rust color to it, and that's why they did it. I don't know. It's a rusty nail. It's a great drink. It's Scotch and Drambuie. Fast forward to the riff, the name of our cocktail. Here's how it goes. It's a little bit easy of a drink. The only thing is we're adding to it, and we're going to add, so we have our Scotch. For God's sakes, this is a part of the show where people say, Paul, just make the damn drink. I'm going to make the damn drink. Here you go. So basically, it's served on the rocks, and the fun thing about this drink, and one of the reasons I picked it, is you mix it in a glass. So there are drinks that you shake, and that's any juice drink. But if it's straight liquor, you can just mix it or pour it in a glass. We're going to pour it in a glass. So we're going to go with a small bottle of Scotch. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. I'm like looking for alcohol. I have to run to the store, and he's like, don't buy Scotch. I'm like, all right. And he's like, how much do you need? I said, just a bottle. We got it covered. All right. 1.5 ounces per drink. Jesus, I hope I can... We'll see how I do. Boom. And boom. Then you're coming in with your Drambuie. By the way, Drambuie, what is it? Anybody know? What's it? What's the main alcohol base to it? Scotch. It's Scotchy. This is, in the words of, who am I thinking of?
Ron Burgundy.
Huh? Ron Burgundy. Scotchy, Scotch. That's all we got. It's all Scotch tonight. And you're going to come in with this, and it's 1/2 ounce. And then the last thing, this is the add to it, is Di Serono, or any sort of almond liqueur. Trivia for you, it's not made with almonds.
No.
Who said no? Who knew that? Do you know what it is made with?
don't.
Oh, come on, you were halfway there.
It's
Huh?
something. It's some kind of a pit.
It is. It is the pits of something. So everybody's like, oh, it's almond. It is almond flavor, but it's actually made with like the pits of stone fruit, like peaches and nectarines, and they actually use those. That's what it is, and it's a nutty little flavor. And 1/2 ounce. And then we garnish. We're going to go with just a nice little peel. We can zest. You want a zest?
Yeah,
Let's give it a little zest,
Give it a
right?
little lemon oil in there.
How's that? You like that?
Yeah.
Do this, do that. Here, you can have.
That's yours, yeah.
Boom. There it is. That's it. Now, normally, we would put emergency on it, but originally, every cocktail we did during the quarantine, we always added a little emergency. Because emergency, we were saving lives, people. I mean, all I know is I never had COVID, and I drank a hell of a lot of some emergency. And they do not sponsor our show to this day. Thank you, emergency. But that's your cocktail. That is the Coffin Nail cocktail. So cheers to everybody out there. Cheers. Ask this, Paul, do you try out cocktails before you make them, or do you just wing it? I literally just wing it. So I've actually never had the rusty nail, so we'll see if it's any good.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's solid. And I'll tell you why. So the Drambuie is actually sweet. It's a Scotch, honey. Did I say rusty? Thank you. Coffin nail. Not that I've had any drinks earlier today. So the Coffin nail, but the Drambuie is a sweet herbal liqueur. So they add honey to Scotch and herbs and spices. And then the Di Serono, I mean, the almost almond flavor, that hits it. It's fantastic. I'm not allowed to serve the drink because we're at a hotel, but that's a little bit. So anyway, there it is. Now, of course, the big question is, Paul, last thing, where's the name? Why is it called the Coffin Nail? So the story goes this. So first of all, 1780s is when coffin nail became a term of expression. It was from a playwright. And the idea is when you put a nail in the coffin, you're ending something. So as you add nails, it's the end. And that is obviously caught on. who we believe created this or claimed to own this drink said that the coffin nail cocktail is the perfect drink to end your night. This is the coffin nail in your evening to wrap it all up.
Cute.
The last cocktail of the night.
Cute.
This is not my last drink though tonight. Probably live. But here we go. So, to everybody out there, thank you for attending. Cheers to ICCFA. Cheers to everybody here. And by the way, again, we have a lot of good stuff. So, anybody need a T-shirt? Oh, she got you. And then we got 2 books. Come on up. Wait, I got one here. We got one there. Boom.
Thank you.
I got one for you too. Don't worry, I'll get you. I owe you one. All right, folks, we are out of here. Season 4, episode 25 in the books. Cocktails on the table. All right.